Hi, this video is a step-by-step tutorial how to make the wallet Fiume. The link to this pattern is in the description box. For more patterns with video instructions, visit my website GettingLoosey.com. This video is divided into chapters, so you can just jump to the desired topics. For Fiume you need fabric and lining for the interior and 1 or 2 fabrics for the exterior. For the interior I use cotton fabrics and for the exterior synthetic leather. How many times you need to cut out each pattern piece from which fabric is indicated on each pattern piece. The required amounts of fabric and supplies are also indicated in the pattern information and in this video description. You should interface some of the pieces. For Fiume I use Vilene H250 to interface the outer body. As interfacing for the inner parts I use Vilene H250. I cut the interfacing without seam allowances to avoid bulky edges. The zipper for this project should be about 18 cm or 7 inches long. A snap or magnetic button serves as a closure. Let's start with the card slots. Transfer the mountain and valley lines onto the fabric. The right side of the fabric is facing you. Also regard the marking for the top edge. Fold the mountain lines towards you, the valley lines away from you. Press the pleats in place. Now you can iron on the edge interfacings. It's best to start at the bottom. Make sure that the adhesive side of the interfacing is facing up. Iron on all edge interfacings like this. Follow the manufacturer's instructions of your interfacing. Top stitch the edges. Now take the card slot's lining and place it right sides together on the card slot piece. Sew both pieces together along the top edge. Press the seam allowances open and sand together. Top stitch along the top edge and down the center. Continue with the inner pocket. It is cut on fold. Iron the interfacing onto one of the sides. Of course, you can also interface the entire piece if you like. Fold the inner pocket as shown and sew the long edges together. Finger press the seam allowances open and turn the inner pocket. After pressing, top stitch this edge. Now take the wallet body lining piece and transfer the markings onto the lining as shown. Line up the card slots and the inner pocket with the marked lines. Attach both pockets to the lining within the seam allowance. After that, you can cut away any excess fabric. You now have two large compartments. If you don't need them, you can divide one of them or both by half by simply sewing them along the center to the lining. Continue with the outer body. Mark the line on the fabric as shown. Now take the zipper pocket lining and place it right sides together on this line. Stitch both pieces together along the zipper opening. Start anywhere on the line, not in a corner. That's a bit easier. If you are using a wider zipper like I did here, increase the opening down a bit. Then cut the opening open. To make it easier for you to see, I have drawn the cutting lines. In the corner, cut very carefully just up to the seam. Turn the zipper pocket lining through the opening to the inside. Press everything flat. If you are using synthetic leather like me or another fabric that doesn't iron well, simply hand baste the parts in place. Place the zipper under the opening as shown. Sew it along the edges. Now you can cut off the excess ends. Fold the pocket up as shown. Sew the edges together. Use a zipper foot. Sew the short sides as far away from the edge as possible. Trim the seam allowances. The pocket should not extend over the seam line of the main body. Mark the position of the closure. I use a magnetic button, so I show you here how you can attach it. Using the washer, mark the 2 places you need to cut. To avoid cutting too far, I secure the endpoints with a pin. Push the 2 legs of the magnetic button through the opening from the right. Put on the washer and bend the legs. Now it's time for the flap. Since the synthetic leather has already stability, I have interfaced only one of the parts. If you are using a thinner fabric like cotton, you should interface both parts. Mark the position of the closure here as well. Attach the second part of the magnetic button in the same way as the first part. Place both flap pieces right sides together. Mark an opening that is large enough to turn the flap. Then sew both parts together. Back tack at the beginning and at the end of the seam very well so that it doesn't rip while turning. I recommend sewing with small stitches. This way you get around the curves more nicely and the seam has more stability. Before turning, trim the seam allowances as shown, but don't touch them in the opening area. Now you can turn the heart. Be patient, it's a little fiddly because of the small opening, but anyway doable. Shape the edges nicely. If you can iron your fabric, press the heart neatly. Mark the lines on the outer body as shown. Fold the lower part up centrally between the markings. Fold the top down along the markings. Now take the heart and pin it in place. Mark the heart at least 1.5 centimeters or 5/8 of an inch away from the edge of the main body part. Below these markings you can top stitch the heart along the edge. Then bring the heart back into its correct position and attach it to the main body part by top stitching above the markings. And I am sure you'll do a better job than I did here. Fold the heart over towards the zipper. Place the lining onto the main body facing right sides. Sew both pieces together, but leave an opening for turning. Trim the seam allowances in the corners and curves. Clip the curves. Turn the wallet inside out. Shape the corners and edges nicely and press everything neatly. Now top stitch from the right along the edge. Use a zipper foot. Start under the heart. When sewing, make sure that the inside does not poke out. You did it! Fiume is ready! If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. For more sewing patterns with video instructions, visit my website gettingloosey.com.